Actually, that's right. I'm going to record the intro roll with all this. So we don't after stand and after the tone after stand, you can pretty much go right into it if you want. If you want to pause for a second or two, so you can like mix in music underneath it later, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Ready to go. And we're live.
You're live. We're live. You're live. I'm live. Da, 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 da.
And go.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Tired of waking up at 2 a.m. to get reservations for dining on your next Disney trip that's still 6 months away? Well, head on over to mousemastertravel.com and let them take care of everything while you sit back and relax and wait for your next trip. That's mousemastertravel.com. Why not brew your happy place? That's right. Trader Sam's Coffee Company is the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some magic at your home? Some of their coffees include Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, Red-Headed Rum, and of course, so many other unique roasts. Their coffees are certified gluten and allergen-free and feature unique custom artwork by guest artists. Trader Sam's Coffee Company offers an adventure in every bag, so start your adventure off today by visiting them online at tradersamscoffee.com. And the Behind the Ears podcast listeners, be sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer. Save 20% off your first purchase with promo code EARS20. That's EARS20, EARS20 at tradersamscoffee.com. Brew your happy place.
Hi, this is Sam Solo calling from the Great White North, and you're listening to Behind the Ears podcast. I'd love to stay and chat for a while, but my poutine is getting cold.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I'm Uncle Danny. The man eagerly waiting to press some buttons is Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris, sir, how are you?
Oh, it's always nice learning a new skill. I can put this on my resume.
There you go.
I press buttons. It's like you press buttons and all of a sudden,
things break. Well,
yep.
Let's get started then.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
And now, it's trivia with Uncle Danny.
That is right. It is the trivia section. Some people might say it's not really trivia, but it is trivial. Did you know that at one point there were other names for the seven dwarfs? Dwarfs
Really?
Names that did not make the cut in Snow White include Jumpy, Deafy, Dizzy, Hickey, and Wheezy. Think they did a good job of not picking any of those.
Wheezy. I don't know, man. That's just weird. Oh man.
What else we got? Can You Feel the Love Tonight was originally supposed to be sung by Timon and Pumbaa.
You know what? I think I knew that, and I think it was kind of given a little hint to that when they have a little bit of a stanza towards the end of the song in the movie itself. But yeah, that's kind of interesting.
And this is the last one I'll leave you with. We're gonna go old school. Do you remember the Golden Girls?
Yeah.
Okay. B. Arthur, remember her?
Of course.
She was one of the actresses film creators considered to be the voice of Ursula in The Little Mermaid.
Well, heck, she almost looks like she could be an Ursula. Think about it. If she gained about 150 pounds, she would be able to do it live action, no makeup.
But I could not see that voice of, B. Arthur as Ursula, though.
Something I think that actually, the more I think about it, the more I think about it, I don't know if it's what's funnier, the fact that she could be Ursula, or what would even be funnier if, for some reason, like Betty White would be some other character to go alongside it. Like, that would be just one of those things.
And you see the comment that's up on the screen. Hey, I saw your post about calling in, leaving a voicemail. I think it's a super cool idea. You guys are improving your show more and more. And you can already see we've already edited and integrated Stans in there. So Stan, the more we get, we'll start to, intertwine them and, take some in for a little while, take some out for a little while. But we're going to do some really cool things with it. But before, Chris, we get to you.
Sure.
We need to wish Megan a happy birthday. Miss Megan Turner, we hope you have a wonderful birthday. We'll not release your age, but you have a good one. Blow out some extra candles and make sure you wish for something good.
Don't you know you never ask?
No, you never ask.
Never, ever ask. It's simple as that.
So let's get rolling here.
All right. You know what that sound means? That's right. It's Behind the Ears Podcast News. All the news you can use from around Walt Disney World. And that's right. We've got some news coming up here for you. I mean, let's just face it. What would be a podcast without some news, something going on? All right. So first off, I saw something. It was a post from somebody who's actually down there now. And they said that there was one of those things where if you're driving towards the Magic Kingdom resorts, you know how you used to always have to go through the toll booth, so to speak, the parking booth, and then cut all the way over to the right and then keep on going towards
Poly and TTC and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Supposedly now there's a new ramp that'll actually let you bypass the toll booth. Now, the interesting part is that it looks permanent. Some people were wondering if it's just a part of the normal everyday changes that are going on, if that's going to change later. It might, but it looks permanent. But I thought that was actually a really cool idea because, the buses, don't even really have their own lane. Now it looks like that is going to be the bypass lane. That'll make it a lot easier for people that are going to either the monorail resorts or to Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness. It just makes it a lot easier because, sometimes even if you're in that far right lane for, just to cut through, to stop is one thing, but then you've got to make sure that you're not accidentally cutting off a bus or somebody else that is trying to go to parking. It just makes sense. It's total, complete, cool, makes sense type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's definitely going to be permanent. We were talking to a couple of the guys when I was down there, and it's going to alleviate so much traffic. But it is not done yet. Christopher's right. There's still, I would say, you're still looking at a year away.
Yeah. I mean, anything that really actually helps is really pretty cool. But still, it's a little bit. It's a little bit new, so it might change. It might change drastically. It might just change a little bit. Who knows? But it's good news to know, especially if you drive at the parks. And I know that, Danny and I don't, Danny mainly drives to the parks. I don't. So not a big deal. But I like to stay at those resorts, and I do drive down to Walt Disney World a lot. So also, one of the other cool things that just happened this week is the Spectalab at Epcot has opened up. Yeah, I mean, did you happen to see anything about this, Danny, by chance?
Did you see how they cut the rope?
I did. It was so cool. I mean, we're talking Mickey getting all scientific here and everything. He dropped, I don't know what it was. I didn't catch that part of the video, but all of a sudden he pours something in. It kind of smokes. It kind of sparkles up, and all of a sudden, poof, it just goes away. Yeah. I thought that was really, really super cool, man. I was like, Mickey is getting, totally scientific there. That's awesome.
I was not expecting that. Now, granted, I have not seen anything from inside it yet. I saw that beginning of it, and then I was going to read the article, and then life happened. But I don't know if anything inside could really top watching Mickey cut rope with smoke. That was pretty cool.
Maybe not. But, I think the thing that really kind of I'm really glad to see about this is, first off, bringing something back to Interventions and something that actually speaks to science, math, technology. I mean, some of those things that were in Interventions really revolved around the STEM type of studies. And for those of you who are not familiar with STEM, it's science, technology, engineering, and math. And if nothing else, it brings on the idea of Imagineering, thinking outside the box, and using science just to get involved with things. I think it's a really cool thing. I can't wait to see it. I'm hoping it's a permanent item. Easy for me to say. So we'll have to.
If not permanent, I think it's still going to be around for a while because they did a ribbon cutting ceremony for it. They didn't do that for the other lab. What is that? The
Colortopia or something like that?
Yeah, they didn't do that for that. That was just kind of.
And that was kind of cool, but nothing like this. I mean, it was nothing like. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't see a ribbon cutting for it. The attraction itself is pretty cool, but it's definitely for a little bit of a younger crowd. But you know what? That's okay because you're still learning something. It's kind of edutainment type of stuff, and I still think that is like way cool. So good job, Disney, for bringing in something like that. I can't wait to see it myself. It's going to be cool. There's already some videos out there of what it's all about, but I can't wait to see more of that. So I think that's all the news I'm going to go ahead and share today. Right. We got more news coming up on Thursday as well. It seems like to be a really cool period of news coming out of Disney, but we're going to save some for next time. So Danny, let's talk about our feature presentation. And I don't have a sound clip for that yet, but we have a featured presentation.
Well, tonight's show is all going to be about creating a fifth gate. We've talked about it on the show. We've gone into little segments of 10, 15 minutes about it, but we're going to give you an entire show about it. And the reason this all happened was because we're backlogged with shows. So people watching us, it is a bit of a benefit for you guys because you're seeing things as they come out live. People that listen to us, we apologize, but sometimes we try to stay on top of it. But today we finally released If We Ran Disney World episode. And in that episode, Uncle Danny, or hashtag UD, kind of went on a tangent about opening a fifth gate, and it kind of got my mind turning because I could hear how excited I was getting. I definitely could hear how excited Chris was getting, and I could tell the way I was talking that I was reading a lot of comments, and people were really getting involved in this conversation. So what we're going to talk about is opening a fifth gate. Now, that fifth gate is going to be a spooky fifth gate. It's definitely going to be more of the genre of scary than anything else. So let's start with this. Let's talk castles. All right. Because you need a weenie for the park.
Just the way you say that. I mean, it's true. That's what those main icons for the park is called. They're actually called weenies. So you're using the correct terminology. It's funny terminology.
Every park's got it. Magic Kingdom is Cinderella's castle. You've got the tree in Animal Kingdom. You once had the Sorcerer's Hat, but the main weenie that was always supposed to be built for MGM was the Chinese Theater. And Epcot is obviously Spaceship Earth, or as people who aren't big into Disney call it the giant golf ball.
My son used to call it the Mickey ball.
The Mickey. So we obviously need something here, but I would like to go with a castle. But the problem is, I think it's going to be too much of an issue with people comparing it to Cinderella's or any other, princess castle around the world inside of Disney. So I'm trying to think of something interesting.
You see, I'll tell you what, I would have done Beast's Castle if it wasn't already over the Be Our Guest restaurant. I wouldn't want to seem to be too copycatish, but I would love to see that, in, I'll call it replica scale, or Disney Castle scale, because that would be epic. That really would be epic.
That's a good one.
I'm not going to say they ruined it. I'm not saying you still can't do it, because the way that you see it, the forced perspective of it really looks like it's off in the distance. You cannot see a lot of, the ornate castle details that you would expect. I'm getting at. So make it full size. As full size as you can make it. Because you can, if you think about it, that castle is huge in real life if you, watched especially the remake of Beauty and the Beast. But I think that would just be an epic choice. I just think it would be cool.
Okay, now I'm gonna go a little off kilter here, but let's go Lion King-esque here. And when Scar is hanging out the hyenas inside of, I don't want to call it like a crater, but it's like a hollowed out like mountainside, almost like a cave. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wonder if we went with something like that. I just don't know the aesthetics of it. Almost like a rotted out tree, but are people going to consider that too much to be along the lines of the tree from Animal Kingdom? Because normally I would like to go with like forced perspective, put a giant hill, like tombstones all around, and then on the top of it have a creepy looking house. But is that creepy looking house going to be too resembling of Haunted Mansion?
See, that's a tough call because, I mean, Haunted Mansion is like the creepiest of creepy houses. And in my opinion, and this is kind of funny, second only to the non-creepy version of Haunted Mansion, which is the mansion that's over at Canada at Epcot. You ever notice that? You ever know I'm saying it's just a cleaner version of outside looking of Haunted Mansion? I never ever realized that until I thought about that. There's no core. I'm just saying.
No. So you know what? Let's move past the weenie for a little bit, because I'm sure as we dive further into this, we'll be able to go. You know, we'll make it a little more free flowing instead of like so on the point.
Sure.
All right, let's go hotel, because if Star Wars can get a hotel, this should get a hotel, because I once again think this would be awesome. So my idea for the hotel is you make it look like the Tower of Terror, or that esque. You know what I mean? You know what that would have looked like back in the 40s.
Sure.
Have it very decrepit on the outside, nice inside, but very dimly lit. I would want giant, chandeliers. Obviously, the marble would look nice, but I don't really see Disney dropping marble into these hotels. So something aesthetic like a marble. But take Pandora at night, and we're going to want to convert that inside. You want that very dark, dimly lit area to really kind of flow throughout the hotel. I don't want to say the cast members should all be grumpy, but I don't need a perky cast member checking me in.
That would almost be like, you know how the cast members at Tower of Terror, they have the very well detailed costume that is very much period correct. And a lot of them, if you get a good cast member, I mean, they are very much in character.
Yeah.
And that's all they need to do. They just need to be in character to have a little bit more immersiveness. Now, that's a little bit difficult to do with the hundreds of people, the hundreds of cast members that work at the resorts, every single day, because, to be in character like that may mean that they couldn't walk briskly to their next destination for some reason or something like that. Or maybe their costume would have to, follow suit with something like that. I'm not sure. I think it would be very difficult for any cast member to be in character, themed character, in a themed hotel. And I think Star Wars, if they build a Star Wars hotel, that's going to be like the first challenge that I think they're going to have to overcome in order for it to really be immersive.
What if there was like a sign? Now, this is going to go off on a tangent here, but what if there was a sign that you said a specific word and that character can break? That cast member can break character. Like, say I'm having an issue with my bill. I need serious talk. I don't need you like hinting around the fact that I'm going to die if I go back up to my room. Like pineapple. Like, if I say pineapple, like, oh, okay, sir, let me help you with your bill.
Rutabaga. Rutabaga.
Random along the lines of that.
Yeah, that is funny. I mean, that would be funny. It's like the safe word.
You need your safe word to check in.
And here's your PIN number. Here's your room number. And here's today's safe word. What?
These words change daily.
Yeah, you have to watch the in-room TV, just making sure that you know that. Yeah, that would be. There you go. That's perfection. That's right.
So I want to piggyback on something I said on the other show because I really liked it. So I don't want this to be a deluxe like I think the Star Wars is going to be. I don't want to price anybody out. So I'd like to go moderate. I don't think it's a value because that will just get flooded way too quickly. I don't mind it being one of the more expensive value moderates on the market. You know, if we're talking 260, 270, but I don't want to see one of those like 350s a night. Like I don't want to price out people who really want to be able to do this.
You know, it's one of those cases. It's kind of like seriously, this is kind of like Art of Animation being by far the most expensive value resort. You know,
what'd you say? Which one?
Art of Animation.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about moderate.
Yeah.
I'm talking as an example how you can have a very immersively themed hotel of a particular category and still have it higher end, because for the longest period of time, the value rooms were all pretty much, you know, they're all pretty much one price. Doesn't matter if you stayed at any one of the All Stars or Pop Century. Pop Century may have been just a wee bit more, but most of the value rooms at the All Stars, they're all pretty much the same price, regardless of the theme. Art of Animation pretty much cracked that mold a little bit with rooms that are actually more expensive than some of the moderates. But even then, some of the moderates are, you know, within $10, $20 of each other, depending on the type of room. Sort of, and so on. So you can actually easily have a premium for a themed moderate hotel. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that would actually be a good idea.
Now, I will go to the extent of saying I would like there to be a concierge level. And I think that's going to break the mold because moderates don't do it. Now,
well, the thing is, though, the concierge has something very, very close. Scratch that. Coronado has something very close to a concierge, and they have like a business class type of setup.
Well, that's because it's a huge. Yeah, they have that huge conference hall there.
They do, but I'm saying it is the closest for a moderate that they have to a concierge, where they have like a separate area that's almost like a concierge lounge. I'm not even sure if they have concierge services, but if nothing else, you have those concierge services towards the front in the lobby anyway. Yeah. You catch my drift, though.
Yeah. I don't need it to be like Poly where you're getting like private cabanas or, you know, cheese and wine all day. But I want to take it where you are treated a little bit differently on this floor. You know you're going to be treated differently on this floor. So you're paying more to get treated differently on this floor. And we're going to go with the whole scary aspect. It's going to be the entire 13th floor. The 13th floor, okay?
And the floor is the 13th floor.
But hotels nowadays, well, it's been like this for as long as I can remember, they don't, most of the time they'll skip the 13th floor. Even though realistically you are on the 13th floor, they won't put the number 13 in the elevator. Like, I want it to be pesky. Like, I don't want the 13th button to work. Maybe maybe ding it and just go up and then go back down. Like, I want it to be a pain to get to this floor because you're paying extras for this floor. And this floor is going to be the most decked out floor. But I want to add something a little bit more to this. The only way to get to this floor is you need to swipe your Magic Band. Make it exclusive. You know, you don't, because the last thing you want to do is people walking around checking it out and not paying for it, but you're trying to, you know, enjoy, because I want activities going on for all this. You know, like
special music playing in the hallways during daytime hours.
Yes.
Didn't we talk about that and the idea of, you know, just having like sound effects in the rooms kind of correct?
Yeah.
You know, I still think that'd be an idea. Or even I like you take that an extra step further. The creepy knock at the door and then you open the door and no one's there.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nuh-uh.
yeah. You're getting creeped out just thinking about it, aren't you?
You know, like maybe like one of the things you can ask, you know, mousekeeping to do for you is, you know, you can, like, this is concierge. Now this is my world. I'm doing what I want, but you can have a bath drawn for you, right? Like, say you know you're getting done with dinner at like 8:30, right? And you're like, I want a warm bath ready to go. But you come in and it's like blood red.
Oh, that's too far.
No, it's not. This is my world. I want it.
And that
it's
is just
food coloring.
No. Oh, food coloring. Could you only imagine what that would be like instead of
clean that?
Yuck. How mousekeeping? Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of red stain in my bathtub. Please don't go to the police.
Jeez.
I mean,
yeah, like, in the lobby, like Teresa said, do ghost stories. Maybe do scary stories by a campfire at night, like campfire scary stories, have like a makeshift tent put up there and everything. Maybe have cast members come scare you a little bit. But I think every floor, we'll discount the 13th floor now. Every floor should be a different theming of horror, in the sense of, have your Nightmare Before Christmas floor, have your Haunted Mansion floor, have your Tower of Terror floor, and so on and so forth. If you want to do like an Ursula floor, a Maleficent floor, Cruella de Vil. I'm trying to think of everything that I could possibly throw into this hotel.
Yeah, I can see that. That would actually be kind of cool.
And then I
was gonna say, but you have the floors, you have the hotels, then you got to theme the rooms, and that was one thing that I will say that before Animal Kingdom Lodge went through the renovation, the rooms were actually kind of, I don't want to say they were dimly lit, but the decorum was very dark, which obviously a dark decor will cause the room to seem darker even with direct light. When they changed it to a lot lighter decor and the white sheets and the bed and so on and so forth, it took some of that away. It made the rooms brighter. So I think that you're going to have to reverse that a little bit and go back to the dark motif, so that, do you remember back in like the 70s? Well, no, you wouldn't remember back in the 70s. But you ever see those little candle opera candles that look like an actual flickering light? It looks like just a little red flickering. Yeah, I could see those in like a small sconce or candelabra inside the room type of thing with just the little red flickers. Oh, that'd just be creepy. I mean, that would just be.
That was awesome.
I mean, it's just one of those things.
I would have windows on it. I wouldn't go with the whole screens on the window, because I think when those start to malfunction, you might lose the room, because people are paying for an expectation to have that on the window. And if that's not there, you're down a room. You're not making money. I go with like some designed headboards, things like that. You can't get woken up. Your wake up call can't be Mickey Mouse. It ain't happening. Your wake up call is got to be, something like, I want Scar to wake me up. You know what I mean?
Maybe like Scar. I mean, you know what? You should get a choice. You should get a choice of who wakes you up in the morning.
Yeah, but it's got to be scary.
Well, you can choose scary, 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 and then Mickey or Donald or Minnie. You got to have some of the first choices being, scary. And then, of course, you have to have the, traditional.
See, I would disagree. I don't think you need that.
It depends on who they expect to answer the phone. If you're having one of your kids answer the phone, you're not going to have Scar goes, hello. No, I'm sorry. That's not Scar.
Why is your kid answering the phone? Tell your kid not to pick up.
I don't know. You don't want to have them to pick up the phone and I'm Groot. I mean, that's just not appropriate.
All right. So hotel set, but you got to eat. You got to have a couple drinks. What can you do? I'm thinking inside the lobby of the Tower of Terror themed hotel, you have a Tower of Terror themed bar and lounge. Have music from that genre, from that era.
Dude, I tell you something. Seriously, if they ever did something like that, I don't care. I'm flying down just for a weekend, just for that. I probably won't even go to the parks. I will just hang out there the entire time. I just think that would be so awesome.
Now, I will say this. You know how every hotel or most hotels have their own thing, but like, Yeehaw Bob is known for, Riverside. What happens if on like the weekends in that bar, you have like Specialty drinks. I like what Leisha says. Maybe specialty drinks like Bloody Marys. You do all specialty drinks that, but also you have like a big band come in. I like that style of music, and I think you can make it really nice. Having maybe a nice lounge. Like I don't need anybody to get up dancing, but nice big leather couches and leather chairs. You just soak into rich mahogany on the walls, but then very dusty.
Very speakeasy, sort of speak. But you're right. With a little bit of fake dust. Yeah. I just think that it would be, again, dark, kind of dark, kind of warm colors.
Yes.
With, the music playing in the background. I mean, seriously, something that you would think that like it's the 30s and you're a part of the elite sipping back a very fine crafted bourbon of some sort, not no well drinks here, folks. And we're talking, let's go ahead and make it a premium bar experience.
Yes. You're going to pay for it, but yes.
You're going to pay a little bit more for it. But the fact of the matter is that first off, if you pay more for it, you're not necessarily going to get those that like to overindulge in a bar scene. You're going to get those that are going to buy that crafted drink and they're going to sip and enjoy it. I see Stan actually mentioned, puts up there, people smoking cigars everywhere. I did have that picture in my mind's eye, type of thing, except we all know that would never happen in a bar scene.
You do it this way.
How's that?
I've been to places you can do, they still allow it. What they do is like you would take a section, right, of the room and you put in that thick layered glass. And it's transparent. It's the same thing. You're just walking behind that glass, and then there's obviously the vent that sucks it out there. But so people can go in there and enjoy that scotch with a cigar or whatever, and the people who don't want to smoke, and obviously is against laws now, you can't smoke in buildings, but that's the substitute for it. You could make it work, hey, but then let's move to what, you have a couple drinks in you. But you want to get something to eat. Well, you got to eat something. Where are you going to eat? You're going to have a haunted mansion themed restaurant. And I think you're going to go with the ballroom look where they're all dancing around. And I think if you do it right, maybe make it like a hoop-de-doo, but not exactly like a hoop-de-doo.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking make it so it's a seating, Is that what you're thinking as well?
I was thinking about doing more like, okay, you have to make you need ticketed reservations for say the 7 and 9 o'clock show.
Exactly.
Or 7, 8, and 9, or whatever it is, however you want to break it out. You have normal dinner that people can go in there and eat whenever they want. Maybe have a smaller section while the shows are going on. So if people do want to just come in and get a bite to eat and they couldn't get reservations, great. But yeah, have a seated area that's, I don't want to call it ticketed, but definitely reservations. You ain't walking up to this. And have the ghosts flying around and,
have some sort of be able to do the special effects. But I was kind of thinking the same thing, kind of like Hoop-de-Doo, where you have a seating, you have an experience that lasts an hour and a half, and it's going to be a premium experience. If it doesn't include any kind of a, say, musical show or anything like that, it'll, still probably be either a fixed price menu or a family style menu with, I still say that, I've said this before, I'll say it again. You do something like that, you got to find recipes from that, from that era, and then recreate them for today's taste as well. I'm not talking about, mom's meatloaf over at, prime time or anything like that, but something that was consumed by the elite. Maybe Brown Derby-ish, or from that a little bit.
Very much Brown Derby-ish.
Except like darker version, more after hours version of Brown Derby. And would it be that feeling, no matter if you're going in there at, 10 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's still going to be a dark type of environment,
I almost want to have like that menu that gives you a little bit of everything, that whole, like almost take the Yachtsman that fine dining aspect, but then mix it with 50s prime time, where you have there's still that meaty substance, those meatloaves, the fried chicken really doesn't fit this. But, I was more going with like the steaks, the meats, the potatoes, things like that. Make it a rich, hearty meal. Obviously, we're going to have salads and things along that nature because you have to, go after every, allergen free and everything like that. But, you want, I'm going to say this, and please no one take this the wrong way. It's just that the vision I have in my mind, that manly man's place. Like what we all thought of our fathers would be. I just picture men in like 3-piece suits, pinstripes, with the big cigars, the scotch, and just, an 80-ounce steak in front of him. Rare. And ready to go. You know what I mean? Like the dinosaur is still there.
I think of the movie The Great Outdoors. John Candy and Dan Aykroyd with the old 96er, the 96-ounce steak. Like,
things like that. Oh man, that sounds like an awesome hotel. I would love to be there right now. Sorry. So let's move into. Stango, sounds like you're making a Club 33. Yes,
Dan, I was actually thinking this, but I was thinking that exact same thing, except I think it would be more of a darker version. It would be from that genre, from that era, and I think you could actually take some of those recipes and, gosh, my mouth is watering thinking about the steak now. You could think about those types of things, and I think it would actually work pretty well. Yeah, old mobsters, not quite Al Capone-ish type of thing, but yeah, this is one of those things.
Or could it be Al Capone-ish?
Oh, well, no, don't do Al Capone. That's a Chicago thing. Seriously, man.
He was from my town. He had a hotel in my town. The building's still here.
Hey, he used to vacation where I live now.
Really? That's kind of cool.
All those people from Chicago used to come down here by me. It was kind of funny. Anyway, let's talk about the parks. Let's talk. We only got about 15 minutes here or so.
Okay.
So let's talk about the parks. So we did start off by talking a little bit about what the weenie would look like. Okay, so that's that. Now, obviously, you have to think about the whole spoke setup of a park. If you think about it, every Disney park has a spoke and hub type setup. It may look a little different in some cases, but that's what it is. So you still have that, but I have a feeling that instead of Main Street, you're going to. I think it would be cool to do like. I'm trying to think. I've got a picture in my mind, and I can't remember the characters or anything, but I would say like an old New York style, Brooklyn neighborhood, or almost like do you remember the Streets of America at Hollywood Studios, and you would have all the different storefront, for like the used guys merchandise, and stuff like that, the old Chevy dealer and stuff like that, something like that. But definitely done, just post-depression type of motif. What I think of? I think of like, okay, this is really bad. I know you're not going to know this movie. I just happened to watch it the other day, but like Johnny Dangerously, the New York facade. Watch the movie. It's a hilarious movie. It's really pretty cool. That kind of motif along the sides, but I think it would actually
want it almost like the Great Movie Ride gangster scene.
You know what? Almost. The Great Movie Ride gangster scene was more of a back alley type motif.
Okay.
And I don't know if I would basically say yes, but make it the front of those buildings that they're coming out of. If you know. Okay, what I mean.
So this is going to be your quote unquote Main Street.
Exactly. So you're still going to have shopping. You're going to have, street vendors. Maybe that's one of those cases. You're going to have almost like a recreation of that time, of that 30s, late 20s, early 30s era, and have it kind of recreated as you go down. So that it's kind of funny. It's like if you ask a cast member about where you can get your cell phone charged, they'll be like, "Well, what's a cell phone?" You know, they're really they can be really in character. It's like, what is that devilish thing that you have in your hand that you're looking at? You know, that they're really super in character.
Can we have like one of the stores is a bank, and one of the daytime parades is people go into the bank to rob it, and the police come out, and like it's almost like that Costello, like
Abbott and Costello type of thing.
Yeah, that type of humor where like boop, bop you on the head, and they just chase each other in circles for a few minutes.
Kind of like a Streetmosphere type of thing, because they did different things like that. Well, they still do to a certain extent over at Hollywood Studios, which I loved. And I think if they brought something like that, that would be really kind of cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That poor bank
now
getting robbed.
But here's the thing. So we need to think of some of the lands, right? And I do think that you could have some really cool rides based upon the movies, but not like, don't have it like like a Pandora where it's based upon a solo movie. Okay. Cause there's several, like you can have movies that are based like, time frame of like say Lady and the Tramp. But it's also around the same time as 101 Dalmatians. Mm-hmm. And you kind of go along with the villains that are of those particular movies as well. So you follow the movie timeline, but not necessarily stick it to the movie, if you catch my drift.
Well, I mean, you can make a section of the park more of, like one section just relating to all animal aspects. Have Scar, have the hyenas, and that's where I would throw a Cruella de Vil in there. Make that, wherever you're going to put animals, Cruella de Vil would be the queen of that area.
Ooh, no, that's a good detail. That's a really good detail. Yeah.
Something along
I can see that. But then you would have, you would have like Scar for things like that. But then, what are some of the others? You have Ursula. You have,
well, you have Ursula, so you could make a water aspect of a park.
You could almost bring back like the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea type of thing, but make it very much okay. They have what used to be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and they have it, the Nemo ride out at Disneyland. I think they can do it very much like almost like a Pirates of the Caribbean, but dark, like, the dark scenes of pirates almost, so to speak, but you're actually in the attraction. You're in the movie. It's not like you're just witnessing it. You're a part of it somehow.
Well, you know what? That 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a form of it's not actually a bad idea, because if you bring the Ursula aspect into it, bring the Pirates of the Caribbean aspect into it. Because when you really think about Johnny Depp, yes, it's lighthearted, it's funny. It's a very dark movie.
It kind of is. I mean, if you think about it, it's not, yes, he brings humor to it. Absolutely. And I think that's the only reason why I still watch them, is because they still have a little bit of humor. But if you think about it, there is some darkness to those particular movies, especially the first couple of them, I think have a certain darkness to it. That would actually fit really well.
When I was in Disney, I watched the Maleficent movie and Alex hated it because it was like when she was good and then turned bad.
I haven't seen it, so don't tell me anything.
No, I won't tell you nothing. It's actually, I enjoyed it. Okay. Make her land something where you got to like climb up to get to it, because she used to have wings and everything, and make her like, hear me out. Because you haven't seen the movie, so it'll be a little difficult, but it's almost going to be like that drop attraction, like a terror aspect like that. You could be going through and then all of a sudden take clips from the movie and boom, no more wings. And now you're free falling.
Ooh. Okay. I think I see where you're coming from with something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying not to spoil it too much. So like,
which would give a thrill ride. It would be nicely themed. And it would include the intellectual property of a movie.
Yeah.
Not that you have to meet all three criteria for it to be an epic ride, but just to kind of, hit all those different types.
Like a Tower of Terror / Soarin'. Yeah. That.
Ooh,
And then throw a little Banshee into that.
So make it a 3D interact.
I wouldn't go 3D.
Why? That'd scare the crap out of some people.
Well, actually, 3D and then actually dropping would actually be kind of interesting.
Well, that would actually be, you almost have to wear goggles instead of glasses, unless they use the 3D technology that doesn't require glasses.
I like
that. And if you remember, someone please do correct me. I'm going totally off of memory. Somebody was supposedly creating a technology that would provide a similar depth perception of 3D using glasses, but without using glasses. I can't remember if it's a Disney thing or if I read it somewhere else, so forgive me if that's not the case. But that would be cool to be able to have at least some sort of depth perception, because I can only imagine having those glasses on people's faces, especially those who are younger, who have smaller shaped heads. That would be like a problem, because all of a sudden you do the first drop and all of a sudden the glasses are like up here and you're down here.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. Jeez. All right. And then with anything Cruella de Vil aspect with the dogs and Scar and all that, I would definitely do I originally thought maybe a dark Omnimover, but I'm actually thinking it'd be a lot more interesting if it was the Mummy-esque, or come over to Disney World, the dinosaur-esque ride, something like that. Load into some form of a vehicle. I don't know. That one's a tough one. I'm not sure how to do it. I don't know where you want to play the aspect of. Do you want to be Cruella or do you want to be the dogs?
See, the thing is I think you need something like an Omnimover, mainly because Alex puts it perfectly. The Cruella de Vil car chase. Love the idea, but I think you have to have an Omnimover. Let me tell you why. And Stan, thank you very much. That's what I think I heard. It was the Avatar movie that was planning on being 3D minus glasses, so that was really awesome. The idea of an Omnimover, I think, is necessary, because at least you're going to be able to have an attraction that, for the most part, doesn't have a height restriction, so you don't have to worry about children not being able to enjoy it. But you still got to make it a little bit toned down, so that it might be scary, because there are some warnings on some dark rides, because even Winnie the Pooh has some dark ride warnings, just because it is dark. But you can do something like that. I know we kind of pick on Cruella, but you could also think of like Ursula, or you can. Oh, dude, what if you were able to pick and choose your villain during the Omnimover, very similar to what Horizons used to do? Oh, I mean, that just seems awesome.
I would like to be a little jerky, though.
You can make a jerky.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing, because you can make blocks of Omnimover cars. Dude, think about it. Adapt the type of, granted, this is old style technology. Adapt the type of technology that they used for, like, what Ellen used.
That's
you can do something like that in a smaller scale, instead of having those big gigantic boats that you could fit a couple hundred people in at one time. Something similar to that. I don't know. This is why we're just brainstorming here. These are ideas.
The last thing I want to add is, I don't know. Can you use a safe word if need be? We're not going to stop a ride. No, we can't do that. Can't stop a ride. Can't. No. I mean, if it's a medical emergency, yes. If you're too scared, I'm sorry. I'm going to be cruel on that one. Last thing I'm going to say is, all right, so say we're going to have our nighttime spectacular, whatever that decides to be, some type of fireworks show or nighttime parade. Nighttime parade or something. And then I want this park open until midnight every night. So that I want those fireworks to go off before everything else. So 8:30, We should have fireworks and parade going on. 9 o'clock, it's over. When 9 o'clock turns, you have to be 16 or over to be in the park alone. You could be younger, but you need to be with a parental guardian. A parent or guardian. And I wanted to become a little bit spookier at that exact moment. Maybe start to sell a little alcohol at that moment. Street vendor style in your main hub area.
I think that would actually really be kind of cool. I mean, to basically make it, I don't want to say make it like Not So Scary Halloween Party every night, but a little bit, maybe some of the atmosphere gets a little bit spookier, gets a little bit darker.
Maybe people jump out a little bit more.
Huh?
Maybe people jump out at you a little bit more.
Well, I was going to say cast members are a little bit more in character. Maybe you have more characters out on the streets. Maybe you have restaurants that are, in there that, maybe switch menus to the late night menu. I just see that there could be some really good things. Now, here's the thing. I still think that you have to have a section that's a little bit more family friendly, and you deal with some of the, I don't want to call them friendlier villains, but those that are a part of some of the more modern day, the more modern day villains or things that are scary. But
I just thought of what the weenie can be.
What's that?
Emperor Zurg. Sorry.
Zurg. A big statue of Zurg.
Yes. In his box.
Oh my gosh.
Big Al's Toy Barn. Creepy.
No. Al's Toy Barn that's been taken over by Sid.
Oh, Sid. No, that's what Sid's. All right. Sid's room is the weenie. You have to walk through Sid's room to get to everything else. That is the main attraction.
Oh my gosh. Where did we go wrong? That's just horrible, but it's awesome. I mean, the thing is that, here's the thing though. You ever notice though, in the last several movies that Disney has put out, now I'm not including remakes, okay, but some of the last movies that Disney put out, the villains are very everyday. They're more like just plain old people that are being villainous. So that's kind of one of those things that I think that we'd also have to figure out which villains would make it, which villains would make the cut. I mean, would the stepsisters be stuck, running a particular? Oh no, that would be funny. You'd have the stepsisters in ruined clothes as a character meet and greet, meal, like a character meal type of thing.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's like, hey, what do you want? Almost like a combination of 50s primetime with Cinderella, and you basically have stepsisters who all have attitudes.
Or to make Trisha freak out even more. You know how they have the moving garbage cans and things like that? You have the baby head that's attached to the claw just walk around. If that doesn't spook your dreams tonight, I'm sorry.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know where you came up with that, but the fact of the matter is that would scare me. That would give me the creepies. You know me. I don't like scary. So the fact of the matter, even the idea that I'm coming up with these things really actually kind of concerns myself, because I don't like scary stuff. I really don't. I mean, Halloween is a time that I don't like. I don't like Halloween. I don't dress up for Halloween. I don't decorate my house for Halloween. I do not watch spooky movies. I do not listen to spooky music. Halloween is for eating chili and jambalaya. That's all I have to say. So, but I love some ideas.
Jamie wants a live Jafar, not a costume face, but a real man in makeup walking around. No, why don't we just get a real lion? You want to scare people? Get a real lion and set that thing loose. Animatronics, obviously. You can't set a real lion loose, and I don't want to make an Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, but then you get to go up to And you get to go up to Jafar and say, "Hey, Jafar, what's with the long face?"
You don't have like a little button for like. Wah, wah.
Well, you know. So that's about the best I can do for that. So, oh man. So, but you know, it's one of those cases where obviously we can go on for days on this topic because it is actually kind of interesting, and it's nice to imagine different things like this. I know you and I have touched on this topic just a little bit. It was very nice to be able to actually dedicate an entire episode just to talk a little bit about it. And I'm seeing some great comments. I can't wait to actually go through all the comments tomorrow from our listening audience, just because I know that we have not been able to, address all of them. But, the nice part about Disney is that you never know what's really going to come around the corner. And that's part of the fun stuff, right? I mean, we see what's coming up. I mean, we know there's a lot of changes coming on, and we're, eagerly anticipating things like, Edge of Tomorrow and, for Star Wars, as well as, Toy Story Land and all those other things. I mean, we're really excited for it. But Edge of Tomorrow, that wasn't, what's it really called? Galaxy's Edge. I was not even close.
I call it Star Wars Land.
But still, I was trying to be appropriate. But, the fact of the matter is I'm looking forward to all the different changes. And we know that, 10 years from now, we're going to look back at this and I know it's going to change even more in the next decade. And I'm actually okay with that. So that's my take.
All right. Well, with that being said, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Any listener questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to buy any of our merchandise, we will have a Christmas shirt releasing very, very soon. You will find that all at behindtheearspodcast.net. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Behind the Ears Podcast. And lastly, don't forget to go on iTunes and rate and review our little show we got going on over here. We do appreciate everybody coming out. We might, see how I feel tomorrow, might do some testing tomorrow over on the WDW community page. So keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, tuck your kids in, fill that salt and pepper shaker, and make sure you watch out for the head and the claw. I am Uncle Danny. I'm out.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Really appreciate all your support. And while you're rating and reviewing over at iTunes, don't forget you can always subscribe over iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Alexa, and the the Google Assistant. They're all available to give you the most recent episode of the Behind Ears Podcast. And I'll tell you what, until we meet again, we hope that you have one epically awesome, magical day. Take care.